What's good, people? Welcome to Two Wheel Talk. I'm LA Deluxe. Today I'm going to be looking at and reviewing this SJ4000 action cam by a company called Sports Cam. Super creative. This is the SJ4000 model. It seems to be quite popular on Amazon and eBay as a really cheap action cam. And when I say cheap, $11.99 on eBay with free postage and packaging, and it came within 2 days. I was really impressed with that. But was I really impressed with the camera itself? $11.99, it was okay, but I don't think this could be your primary camera if you were going to do motor vlogging or something where you needed high quality video. So let's talk a bit about the specs. It shoots at 1080p, full 1080p actually, but it's only at 15 frames per second, so it misses detail, and it looks a bit kind of juddery, I would say, the footage, but I will show you the footage that I captured with this in a few minutes. It does record at 720p at 30 frames per second, which is much more normal, but obviously those of you who want full 1080p, you're not going to get it at 30 frames per second. So I would probably recommend going at 720p. All the videos I upload to YouTube are 720p, so for me it doesn't really bother me too much. It says it's got a super wide angle 140-degree lens, but when you see the footage you will see that it's not wide at all. It's quite close in my opinion. It's got a 2-inch LCD. It takes microsd cards. It says up to 32 gig. I had a 128 gig card in here and it worked fine, no problem. It was a speed 10 card as well. I did try a 4 gig speed 4 card, and the audio and the video weren't synced properly, and the audio was kind of juddering, and it just didn't work. So I recommend a fast card. It's got a 900 milliamp hour battery, and it's supposed to last 1.5 hours. In reality, I think it probably lasted 40 minutes, 20 minutes there, 20 minutes back on my journey. And it was dead within that time. 45 minutes, I'd say at most. It takes micro USB and it's waterproof up to 30 meters. Now I am going to test that shortly. I'm going to put it in its case and put it in the bath and see if it actually holds up. So we will see that soon. But before that, I'm just going to show you around the camera and show you some of the accessories that you get with it. So on the front here, it's got obviously the camera lens and a power button, which is also your mode button. On the left hand side, you've got a micro SD slot and a micro USB port. On the right hand side of it, you have these 2 volume rocker buttons, which you use to scroll through your menus, and the speaker is actually there as well. On the top, you have a shutter button and an LED that tells you whether the power is on. And on the bottom, interestingly enough, you have a battery compartment where you can take out the battery and replace it with another one. So that would actually allow you to have multiple batteries charged up for when one dies. Now, I'm not too sure if there's an external charger for this, because you would have to charge one battery at a time, and they don't charge very fast. It takes a few hours to charge. So you'd have to take it out, put another one in, charge it, then, you know, repeat that cycle for however many batteries you had. However, it's really good that you can change the battery, because there are a lot of these cameras where the batteries are sealed and you can't change them, and once they die, they die. So I'll show you a few things that come with it. You get this tripod clip. So that part just goes onto your tripod, and on the top maybe you could load a light or a flash or some other accessory. I'm not too sure what they intend for you to put there. And it just slides in, making a meal of it. It just slides in like that and locks in. It's quite secure, so you pop it on a tripod and you can film stuff. You get a load of mounts which mount to the case, which I'll show you in a second. You get a load of mounts. You get a sticky pad mount, and that has a little, it has a mount that slides into it. I did have it on the desk here, but I'm not sure what I've done with it. But basically, oh, it's on it. Duh. It's already on it here. That is it. So, but as you can see, I didn't use this. It comes with this sticky pad, which a lot of manufacturers do provide for sticking to your helmet or wherever you want to stick it. But you'll notice that it's a flat one. Ones for helmets normally have a curve, and I don't really know if I trust this sticky pad. It's very thin, and I'm not sure how sticky that's going to be. Plus, I didn't want to add anything from this camera setup to my helmet because it's not going to be my permanent main camera. That said, if I do decide to get a GoPro or something similar, all of these mounts should be compatible with it, so that is handy. And there's another one of the mounts that you get. You also get a handlebar mount with a rubber grip so it doesn't move around. It is there. You get this kind of swivelly type of mount. Two of these bolts for attaching the mounts. What do you call this again? A Velcro strap. A textile strap, maybe for putting around your wrist. A micro USB lead, and of course, the main thing that you're going to need if you're going to be doing some adventure riding and stuff is a case. Now you can see I've got mine attached to my helmet already, and I've got it on this mount that has an arm on it. Now initially I used the mount, I didn't use the arm, I just mounted this case to this part of the mount. And what happened was the camera was angled too far forward, so it was more like that. And normally when you're riding, your head isn't straight like that, it's more at an angle. So all of my initial footage was of my clocks and the ground, and it was just rubbish. So I had to put this mount on and then go out and film again. So you can see that you can angle it up even when your helmet is facing down. That's something to bear in mind. So this is the case. On the left hand side of the case you have two buttons that allow you to control the volume rocker here, or the menu buttons. You have a button on the front that allows you to turn the camera on and off, and also a shutter button on the top so you can take stills and start the action. It is watertight as far as I can tell for now. I haven't submerged it in the bath yet, which is what I'm going to do in a minute, but as far as I can tell it's watertight. As you'll see on the ride footage, the case does a really good job of keeping the wind out. One thing that I was conscious of with this was the wind noise. You see a lot of videos of people on rides and all you can hear is the wind. Well, with this in the case, the wind is really minimal and I can hear the bike well, I can kind of hear the road. But yeah, very minimal wind, which I was impressed with. So don't worry about having footage that's really just polluted with wind noise. One thing it's worth noting is it has no microphone input, so you can't do commentaries or anything like that. It's strictly the onboard microphone audio, so you could talk at it or be talking to someone and it's fine, but once you're riding and this is on the outside, you're not going to hear yourself talking. You need to buy a more expensive camera if you want to do that, which is something I intend to do. So let's go over to the ride footage. You can see what it's like on the helmet, how clear it is or isn't, how the wind noise and the road sounds, and just generally what you can expect if you go out for a ride with this. So this first piece of footage from the camera, I'm just going down a 40 mile per hour road, and I'm currently filming at 1080 15 frames a second, and you can see that it looks like I'm going about 20, and you can see that it's very kind of laggy in terms of as I'm going over bumps, the camera is kind of ghosting and trading to keep up with the speed of the road, and obviously that's because it's only 15 frames a second. It's just too slow for any kind of fast action. So yeah, it's not great in 1080 when you're on a bike. This next section here, I'm following a truck through a kind of canopy in the forest, and you can see that the camera is struggling to pick up any details from that car. So you can't see the number plate at all. You can't make out any of the numbers, and because it's because I'm not moving very quickly at the moment. I'm probably doing about 30 there, but again, because it's 1080p 15 frames a second, every movement is just ghosting and bouncing. But you can see here it's picked up a little bit as I've come out of the canopy of the trees and there's more light into the sensor of the camera. It has improved, but you can see that as I'm turning, I'm about to make a U-turn into the car park here. Any movements, it's just a blur, and if you had to watch this, you would probably get some sort of motion sickness from the way it handles movement, which is poorly. In this next section here, I've switched over to 720p, moving at 30 frames per second, and you will be able to see that the footage is much smoother as I move. You can see me there looking into the car window, looking around. It's not lagging as much. It slowed down quite a lot there as I put my hand over the sensor just to adjust it. But you can see as I move off that it's a lot smoother than it was when it was 1080. But one thing I found about this camera is that it's really not a wide angle. It's set at such a close amount of zoom that the slightest movement puts the image too high or too low. Like if I've got my head normal as I'm riding at a slight angle slightly down, I can see pretty much the road and what's ahead of me. But if I look up even slightly, it's zoomed in so much that the image goes too high. And you can see here, as I'm in the kind of, look at this part especially, look at the way the cars are just bouncing up and down. It's like when you put motion control or whatever on in YouTube. And you can see as I'm in the dark of the canopy of the forest, the camera just can't cope with the levels of low light. But you see here, as I come out of the canopy onto this residential road, which has no trees on it, you'll see how the frame rate improves drastically. There you go, as soon as I come out, it's much smoother, so the camera does struggle in low light. But despite me going about 20 on this residential road here, I still can't make out any of the numbers on any of the number plates. I even paused at a couple of spots during watching this back, and I couldn't make out any of them. What I will say about the footage on the camera is that there is no wind noise, which is great, or very, very little wind noise, even on that 40 mile per hour road. At the beginning I showed you when it was 1080p 15, I was doing 40, and the wind, I could hear the wind in my helmet and whatever, but even the camera blocked a lot of that out, and you can see, you can hear, the engine quite well. Although it doesn't quite sound like what it sounds like in real life. It sounds a lot, there's no bass or anything, so it sounds very mid-rangey. But it does pick up good road noise and the sound of the bike. So that is good, it's positive. Right, what's good people? Come to the waterproofing test of this review. I've got the SJ4000 locked up securely in its case, and I'm about to drop it in the bath. and just to add some drama to it, I'm going to activate the jacuzzi and see, is it going to work? I hardly ever use it, but yep, here we go. We need to clean, so I'm going to turn on the SJ4000 and I'm going to start it recording so that we can see what the camera sees when it's in the water. It's recording, and in it goes. It's floating. There's all bits in the jacuzzi, man. God knows what that is. Still working so far. I mean, I'm expecting it to stay dry because that case does look watertight. It looks like it's got a good seal on it. But I mean, if you can survive this, you know it's good. You could probably survive white water rafting and that. So I'm going to leave it in the water for a while and come back in say 10-20 minutes and see how it's getting on. And at this section here, what you can see is me trying to keep the camera still underwater just to see how it copes with just a static kind of position. And you can see that it's going through the casing, obviously through its lens, through the water, and you can see me. If you had to identify me or somebody else underwater, you would be able to do it as long as there's not too much movement and the camera's still. See, even that movement. I'm actually not moving the camera that much. It's because it's so zoomed in, it looks like it's a lot of movement. At this point here, that's where I put the camera in a glass to kind of let it, to keep it still and keep it submerged because it kept on floating up. So I wanted to leave it under the water so that I could see if water would seep in if it was, you know, while it was under the water, actually held submerged, and it done really well. So let's look at the results when I took it out of the bath. I'm back in the bathroom to check on this camera in the bath. So it's quick, it's freezing. It has turned off, which I expected because it didn't have a full battery when I put it in. Let's try and turn it on. I can't see any water in there. It is working. Look at that. Looks good. Looks good. This is the view from the SJ4000 after being in the bath. It looks good. Can't lie, it looks good. Wicked. So I'm just going to open up this case and make sure that there is no water in there. It was working perfectly as far as I could tell still. So let's just bust this open and make sure there is no water in there. Dry as a bone. That dry, absolutely dry, perfect. That did a really good job. All right, so there you have it, the SJ4000 and its case. It's got some pros. It comes with some good accessories. The case is good. The mounts are good. The little tripod holder is good. The device itself, I think it is lacking. The sensor and lens and frame rate are all poor. There's no way you could use this as your main camera, not for motovlogging anyway. It just wouldn't cope, and the results are less than acceptable. And also, it doesn't have a microphone input, so you can't do any commentaries or anything like that. What I do think it would be good for is maybe mounting in a static place on your bike, maybe facing backwards, so you could see what was going on behind you, because images coming forward at high speed it just can't cope with. But maybe images going backwards, it would be better, and definitely somewhere where you're not moving your head a lot of the time, which maybe I move my head more than most people. I'm always looking around and checking my mirrors, and but I want to see I want to see the sights. I don't just want to look at the road. So this just can't keep up. So yeah, maybe as an additional camera alongside whatever your main camera is, this could be an option. But the lack of detail and the poor ability to keep up with motion, they just don't do it for me. But for $11.99, like I said, if you want just an additional little camera to get some additional angles or something, then maybe more static work. But even doing static work, it doesn't pick up detail very well at all. So there you go. I hope you've enjoyed this quite in-depth review. I hope it's been insightful and fun as well, not too long and boring. But yeah, I wanted to do a kind of in-depth review, and I will do an in-depth review and test of all the cameras that I try out in the future as well. So don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, share, follow me on Instagram as well, and any of the links and stuff I put below, if you click on any of those and do any stuff to do with them, that will help support the channel and me doing these vlogs and videos and buying these items and stuff as well. So I'll see you in the next video. Peace.
I want you, my baby, my lady. You drive me crazy.